Guys, deluded Guna, Arsenal versus Manchester United, the preview. Now it's the big one. If you're like me and you grew up in North London or anywhere in London, your friends are either Arsenal fans, United fans, couple Chelsea fans, and you got some United fans. And as you can see, and I'm pretty sure you guys are the same, your group chats are popping right now. Everybody's getting at everyone. And come 8 p.m. on Saturday or whenever the game finishes, some people will be ecstatic and some people will be hiding their faces. So yeah, it's a big game. Two fallen giants. Used to be one of the biggest, one of the, if not the biggest fixture in British football. Yeah, fallen giants, fallen by the wayside for whatever reasons, but it's still a big clash. And yeah, second versus fourth at the time of the videos. To be honest, yeah, I believe they're second, obviously, and we're fourth. They're off City, and we're fourth. 25 points at the time of making this video. Obviously, if we go and beat Huddersfield Town, we're on 28, and versus United, who are on 32, because obviously I believe they beat, who'd they beat? They beat Watford. I might not be right on that, on their actual points, but yeah, if we do this thing and beat Huddersfield going into that game, I believe we're a point or so behind United, so that puts us in a fantastic position on United's hands. If they win, they're only 2 points behind City. Obviously, City are to play in the day and them things there, but all they can do is keep up the pace. So that's all both sides can really do, man. We want top four. They want to get into the top four properly because Europa League master a lot of their problems. Ultimately, they want to win the league and be the side that catches City on their toes, because City have a target on their back and people are not rating United too tough, so they can silently just pick up wins. Added to this, if they were to beat us, who have they got to play next week? It's the Manchester derby. So you imagine they won that, and imagine they beat City or get a good result against City. Puts them in a driving spot, and it puts a lot of pressure on Manchester City. So it's a big win for both sides. Yeah, United, we know it's Jose versus Wenger, so we know Jose is going to up the ante and up his game more so than he would in anything, man. Yeah, the smoke has gone a bit between them two, but the hate is real. It's there. United of second top goal scorers in the Premier League. We know they get mocked for being boring and all of these things, and to a degree, these late flurries of goals against Newcastle, West Ham, and a couple others have masked it. But they've scored 32 goals. That shows how dangerous they are. They're 10 behind City. City have the vast amount of attacking options better than United. So that's quite good for United, considering who they have and who Thingy have. So you can't. It's going to be a game where we cannot allow them to shoot. They're shown their side that if they smell blood, if they get one, they'll go and get two, they'll get three, they get four. And when I just said late goals, even if they didn't score a bucket load against Spurs, but what did you see against Spurs? A late goal, ball over the top, Lukaku hit it. So they start off quick and they finish off games late. They're very focused, so we can't afford to switch off in the first minute or the 90th minute, especially when fatigue sets in, because in a blink of an instant, you can go from winning 3 points to taking only a point to taking none. So we need to be serious. Yes, they've scored 32 goals, but I do believe only one has come versus a top six side, which is ironically, I'm pretty sure, against Spurs. So read into that what you will. Do United have problems in big games? I don't know. Do they have as big problems as we do? No. If I'm both sets of fans and both sets of players, I'm confident of getting 3 points. If I'm Arsenal, I'm confident that I can. I know they've got Pogba, but I'm pretty sure that midfield, if we get going, you can play some football. And if I'm a United fan or a United player, I'm thinking these guys are a soft touch. We put balls into the box, we win this. We counter attack, we win this. So yeah, United are fresh off obviously that 4-2 win against Watford. I watched it. I was impressed. I watched it so I've watched them all season. I watched that specifically in regards to Saturday. They set up a bit differently, as you can expect. A lot of rotation. I don't know if Rojo plays on Saturday, but it wasn't their first choice back three by any stretch of the imagination. And there was a couple other changes, and it did look like a 3-4-3 with Lingard playing a blinder. And Pogba was very forward. Obviously, against us, their game plan will be different. Their midfielders will be closer together. But you constantly saw Matic drop deep to receive it off the centre half. You saw Lukaku dropping deep if that's low on confidence. Pogba pulling the strings. The front three all interchanging, all getting into pockets of space, all running into channels. It's a very serious game that we need to take seriously. Do I think any of that back three, Barbet, or any of the United's defensive options are good? Not necessarily, no. But as you'd expect with a Jose Mourinho side, they've kept a lot of clean sheets. They're defensively resolute. So if we go a goal down, it's going to be very hard to break them down. So I need us to be switched on and proactive in that sense and stuff like that. I do believe, having said that, I believe that back three can be got individually. You look at the likes of Smalling and these players there, excluding Eric Bailly because he's 30. You can get at them, you can press them, you can cause problems. If we do our jobs, every individual man at Arsenal does their job and focus on doing their job correctly, we see where this game takes us. Like, it's important to remain defensively rigid and keep our shape. If I've just said all the movement and all of these things that United have, that's all fun and great. But if you do your job from back to front, you have half a chance. Set pieces are a big thing as well. We need to be switched on set pieces, especially the back post, because you can imagine the likes of Lukaku, Pogba, Matip if he's there, Fellaini if he's there. I don't know for their injury statuses. Anyone with a bit of height, they're gonna pin Bellerin and Monreal, and they're literally half the size of these players, so they ain't gonna have a chance. And that's nothing to do with them. The most they could do is just try and put someone off, but they don't really. United, for me, they don't really play with fluidity. They could go up several gears. I've spoken with some United fan friends and they echo this. So I do believe if we get it down and play football in the midfield of the park, we can win this. I do believe both sides could cancel each other out in the middle of the park, because I do believe both sides play way too narrow, especially because we're both two sides that are accustomed with mad wingers. They've had Ronaldo, Best and all these guys. We've had Perez and all these guys that used to take men on. It's a bit. If it's me, I'm telling Martial, switch it up. Sometimes come inside, but I need you to have a go at Bellerin. If I'm them as well, I'm also telling Young, check in on your right foot as many times as you can and whip across into the back post. So with that being said, what do we need to do? Stop the crosses on first touches. If you stop the crosses, half the job is done. Like I said, I'd back us in midfield. So if we make it so they can't cross balls, I back us to play our game through the midfield. I back our movement of Lacazette and Alexis to make runners and to be found out, and their defenders to lose them, to be honest with you. So yeah, man, we need to do this. It doesn't matter if I've seen them go 4-3-3, I've seen them go 3-5-2, and I've seen what I believe was 3-4-3. So they're a side that can play many systems. People can say what they want about United, but this side will take advantage if we give them anything. They counter-attack with devastating fashion. They finish their chances. Like I said earlier, they smell blood. We've made over the Premier League. We've made more passes than them as well, which makes me believe we can dominate the midfield if we go against it in the right way. To be honest, they're tough to break down. They've got the most clean sheets. They've got a world-class keeper behind them. Yeah, man. They actually scored 6th for scoring from corners, and we scored second. So second on the league table for that. So that was a bit weird. I would have thought United have converted more from corners than us. We've had more passes and more touches on the ball on average than them. We're 4th and 5th respectively for shots. They're obviously 2nd for goals. We've actually both hit the woodwork the same amount of times. We're 11th for tackles, and United are 19th for tackles, which is a bit of a shock, which leads me to believe if we can do our thing in midfield and overrun them, we have half a chance. You've seen United win games, but there's been incidences, even against Watford, when Watford started off brightly, committed in midfield. United found it hard. Obviously, going after the 90th minute, doing that for 90th minute, 90 minutes is a different story. But you see where you can win. If we're committed, especially in the midfield, if we work for each other, don't give anything away, we have half a chance. I would love to win. Any realistic fan of both sides would take a point. But yeah, man. So in that regards, like, I worst case scenario, I need us to win against Huddersfield, so at least we can go again the week after. But yeah, man. I'm not too sure for players on both sides. You're hearing problems with Bailly, Martial, Fellaini, Matic, Ozil, Giroud. You even heard something about Alexis as well. So I'm not too sure on these things. I think both sets of clubs are playing coy. It's a big game. I think a lot of these guys will be available, but you don't know. In regards to the starting lineup, I'm gonna go with checking goal. I'm gonna go with obviously Koscielny and Mustafi, who's been playing out of his skin the last couple fixtures. I'm gonna go with Holding / Monreal. Monreal will play and he deserves to, but if it was me, I'd play Holding. I think Holding's a bit better in the air than Monreal, and I see Monreal getting targeted in this game. But true say, Monreal makes these interceptions and they could prove vital. So who knows? Bellerin on the right-hand side, he needs to have a big game because Young's going to be putting in crosses. Martial is going to target that side if he starts, and so is Rashford. Rashford pulls in off them channels. Even Lukaku, when he's making runs, both fullbacks need to be aware of when he pulls off his runners. Lukaku is very smart at making runs, especially when it comes to crosses into the box. So we need to be aware of that. So yeah, so Bellerin on the right, on the left, Kolasinac, whatever you want to call the man at left back. Xhaka, Ramsey in midfield with Ozil. Oh, Ramsey, this is a game I actually want Ramsey to run in behind, and I've done it for you, man. Of course, they don't necessarily set up with 3 defenders, but you're like midfielders. But you're likely to see that at some point 3 people will be in midfield of both sides. If I was them, I'd start under anyways. But this is United, this is Arsenal. This is the one game I need Ramsey to actually do this, you know. I actually need him to run in behind because Pogba is going to be venturing forward. If Ramsey runs in behind, Pogba might have to start defending and other people running behind. That's what I need to see, to be honest. This is the one game I want to see that. So yeah, Ramsey, Xhaka, like I said, Mesut Ozil, And then you've got to go with Alexis and Lacazette. But there is cases to start Giroud because of our height difference. Giroud on the pitch gives us a focal point to hold it up against, and it gives us someone to help us defend set pieces. And also Welbeck for the very same reasons and for a counter-attacking play, and he helps us as well. So yeah, but to recap, checking goal, Holding slash Monreal centre half, Mustafi at centre half, Koscielny at centre half, Bellerin right back, Kola left back, Xhaka, Ramsey, Ozil in the midfield, Alexis and Lacazette through the middle. There's also scope to start Jack as well, but he's likely to play against Huddersfield. So yeah, man, creativity and fluidity is what it works for us and works for our advantage. Being rigid, being tough to break down. United struggle to break sides down. It sounds silly because they score bare goals, but they're hard to break down. They're elite. They smell blood. They're killers. Their counter attacking is dangerous. Like I said, there's some things we need to be wary about if you're United, for that United side. But for us, fluidity, creativity, movement as well. They've got movement, but we can match them for movement. There is reasons to be positive and cautious for both sides, to be honest with you. But I really think I'm waffling. I just don't want to see silly crosses. Like, I want us to see us actively attempting to stop the first crosses and the final crosses and things like that. But I'm waffling, man. That's the preview, guys. Arsenal versus United. DG, I'm signing out.